can today's female superheroes learn from Lynda Carter's Wonder Woman in 1975? Turns out a lot, and I'm going to tell you about it. I'm Danny Sanssouci, and this is Comics and Cosmetics. Anyone who knows me will tell you that I am a huge fan of ass-kicking female superheroes and characters. In fact, I even made one. From Buffy the Vampire Slayer to Atomic Blonde, you can trust that I will be first in line to buy a ticket. And as a woman, what wouldn't be so satisfying about a badass chick putting a well-placed heavy fist into a bad guy's face? Especially when you might have a little experience being an underestimated woman. Do you remember the first time you saw a female action star or a superhero just totally kick ass? Was it Ripley from Aliens? Was it Red Sonja? Was it Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor in Terminator 2? I know she was in Terminator 1, but she became a badass in Terminator 2. Fight me. For my generation, those were the ones it basically boiled down to. Women who were badass, ripped, or heroes in this respect were not the norm when I was growing up. They weren't common at all. It was actually a rare treat for girls like me to get a character like this in live action, even in cartoons. And I remember how excited and mesmerized I was by Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2. Her transformation as Sarah Connor was mind-blowing to me. I couldn't stop thinking about it for weeks or months after the movie. In fact, I genuinely don't think I've stopped thinking about it. She was ripped, calculating, hard, tough as but she only became that way because she was forced to. Sarah Connor believed that she couldn't trust anyone around her son, John Connor. She alone had to protect him at all costs because the future of the human race was dependent upon his survival. So much, in fact, that advanced AI from the future were being sent back repeatedly to kill John as a child. So Sarah did what she had to protect her son. In any other situation, Sarah would probably be at home waiting for John to get home from school with a snack and a warm hug. Instead, she had to sacrifice all her femininity and gentleness along with her body fat content. Okay. And she ended up in a psychiatric facility and John in foster care because of the knowledge she had of the future and the war to come. But damn, did she look good doing those pull-ups. Nowadays, badass women superheroes are literally everywhere. From Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow to even the new Black Panther. Women have not only truly staked their claim in the superhero world, we've damn near taken over. And you can't make a turn on the interwebs without being smacked straight in the face with an argument about it. In the representation feeding frenzy we've had in the last few years, there's a lot being said by polar opposite sides. Oh, you hate men. You hate men. You're trying to erase male heroes. MSHEU. You hate women and you're just a bigot. You're turning women into men. When the simple fact of the matter is literally everyone is right and wrong at the same time. But we're so far down that we have completely forgotten about the fine art of friendly debate and conversation, that this war of polar opposites is just doomed to continue. And that's not the only stumbling block that seems to be in our way. In a world where I see 100 times a day men complain about fictional characters citing, women can't do this, that's not realistic, men are better at this, let women be women. And then their opposition firing back with, you're insecure, you're wrong. But no one is elaborating. No one is saying, well, here's some things that women are better at. Here's some things that women are naturally talented at. We live in a modern society that prides itself on its evolved sense of inclusion. However, being gentle and a feminine woman, it's not only discouraged, but publicly ridiculed, shamed, and accused of being repressive. We've gotten so deep into this battle, we have completely forgotten that there's some very unique traits, qualities, and aspects of the feminine that truly make women divine. What does any of this have to do with Lynda Carter's Wonder Woman? I'm so glad you asked. Because I know for a fact that Lynda Carter's portrayal of Wonder Woman in 1975 can save us all. So, how can a show that was on air almost 50 years ago solve this conflict, and what could it possibly teach us? Well, a lot, as it turns out, and it's painfully simple. Today, we are told that you can be literally anything that you want to be, but somehow being a very feminine woman is considered outdated and repressed way of thinking. To say it is strongly discouraged would be an oversimplification. Our female superheroes today are tough, hard-nosed, and possess every ability their masculine counterparts do, but they can't seem to possess the box office numbers. Statistics have shown that in the last few years, women simply aren't watching these movies like the studios had hoped. We just aren't connecting with these characters because for all the power and spotlight that they've been given, the one thing that makes women unique from men has been taken away. 1970s television. It's famous, or infamous rather, for being somewhat silly and campy. This was the age of the variety show after all. However ridiculous it was from time to time, the 70s did produce some pretty classic entertainment that some can actually still hold up today. By the time Wonder Woman starring Lynda Carter aired on November 7th, 1975, Wonder Woman had already had two failed pilots. The first starring Ellywood Walker in 1967, called Who's Afraid of Diana Prince, never even actually aired. The second was actually called Wonder Woman, and it aired in 1974, starring Kathy Lee Crosby as a blonde, bobbed, very tough tracksuit wearing Wonder Woman taking down a spy ring without any superpowers. Lynda Carter actually did audition for the titular character in 1974. Because of the direction they were taking Wonder Woman in that particular incarnation, Lynda Carter just simply didn't fit. This version of Wonder Woman was based more on the 1968 comics version, which is by and far the least favorite run of all the comic book fans. This was the period where Denny O'Neil decided it would be more feminist to take her superpowers away, take her star-spangled spankies away, give her a white cat suit, and make her a spy, kind of like James Bond. The world told him he was wrong, and after years of harassment from Gloria Steinem, the old Wendy returned. Though the ratings for the TV movie that aired actually twice in March and August, those ratings were pretty respectable, but it wasn't enough to convince ABC or the fans to pick it up as a full series. Because much like that comic run that we do not speak of, the fans knew exactly what the problem was. And it's the same problem that we have today. The thing that makes Wonder Woman so special, so unique, and so beloved by her millions of fans is the exact reason why Lynda Carter wasn't right for that version of Wonder Woman, and precisely why she was cast in the 1975 version. At 24 years old, the former Miss World 1972 beauty queen not only looked the part, but there was an earnest goodness to her. which was demonstrated simply when she smiled. She had an infectious gentleness and a warmth that exuded feminine grace through her every action and word. She was graceful and soft-spoken. There was an air of modest confidence to her without even a hint of ego behind it. She had this natural and easy sophistication to her, comforting yet approachable. She was both relatable and aspirable at the same time. Lynda Carter was the perfect example of femininity, which just so happens to be the entire point of Wonder Woman. In the 84 years that the character of Wonder Woman has been around, this has been the most forgotten aspect of her character. Not the fact that she is a woman, but that she's feminine. The reason that she was created was to show young girls that they can be fierce and strong and independent without sacrificing any of their natural gentleness or femininity. All the things that make women women. And I'm not talking about just your physical attributes. She was made to be a hero for us and show the world that there was power in the feminine, power that was uniquely our own. In the decades since she first appeared in All-Star Comics number 8, regressed and back again many, many times. For those who don't know, in the world of DC Comics, Wonder Woman is an ancient, immortal Amazon princess, diplomat, sometimes goddess, and warrior, having trained for thousands of years in virtually every form of combat and martial art there is. She's read every book ever written on philosophy, government, poetry, democracy, and history. All of this on an island inhabited only by other women similar to her. She was taught to be untrusting and even fearful of men. And some take this as an overt message that men are evil and bad. And that's simply not the case. William Moulton Marston, a man, felt that women had true superpowers in their feminine nature. A Harvard-educated psychologist and professor, he believed that women were more naturally honest, which is what led him to develop the lie detector. He felt that they had this natural predisposition of caretaking, and it was a strength that should be nurtured. The idea of Paradise Island wasn't, if women could get away from men, the world would be paradise. The point of Paradise Island was women shouldn't compete with men, and what happens to femininity when the masculine isn't around to counterbalance it. The idea of men and women competing against each other would be like the St. Louis Cardinals playing a game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Both teams are wonderful and draw lots of fans and make Missouri proud. And baseball and football are both awesome sports, but they're two totally different sports. And how ridiculous would it be to put them both on the field competing against each other at the same time? It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. We aren't meant to be in competition. Men and women are a complement to one another. The point was, there is no competition. Women don't need to change. Women simply needed to recognize the power they already had. And in my opinion, nothing has shown this better than Lynda Carter's version of Wonder Woman. From 1975 to 1979, Wonder Woman appeared in homes once a week with a blast, and honestly, one of the greatest television theme songs ever. Fight Me. During the intro, we see the comic panels animate and come to life before morphing into live-action Lynda Carter with her trademark warm and earnest smile. Wonder Woman was literally leaping off the page on our TV screens right before our eyes. And every single week on ABC and then CBS for seasons 2 and 3, American families watched as she learned the differences between Paradise Island and man's world, and not only learn to navigate these differences and celebrate them, but how to solve that week's conflict with what she had learned. After living so long on Paradise Island that Diana doesn't even remember how old she is, a pilot in the Army Air Corps, Steve Trevor, played by Lyle Wagner, the epitome of a man's man for 1942, crashes on Paradise Island, and Diana is the one that discovers him. After taking him to the hospital, she reports this to her mother, Hippolyta, played for this first episode by the incomparable Cloris Leachman, and Hippolyta decides he must be taken back to his world before he becomes conscious and learns the secret, Paradise Island. Hippolyta is vehemently, adamantly apprehensive and mistrusting of him and all men, a fact she keeps constantly repeating to her daughter Diana as she glides across her beautiful, smooth marble floor in decadent silk robes, bejeweled crown, bracelets, and her flowing hair just dripping with pearls and precious stones. She proselytizes Diana and the audience of the barbarity and aggressive nature of man, and how she made this island a paradise without them. She lounges in opulence as she denies her daughter's wish to accompany the man back to his home, refusing to listen to any of her reasons. And through small and seemingly insignificant subconscious mannerisms, we see the cracks in Hippolyta's conviction. Fumbling with her hair, forgetting for the briefest of moments what she's talking about, unable to pick a piece of fruit from the overabundance of options before her. Maybe it was just Cloris Leachman struggling to play a straight, dramatic character without any foibles or silly humor. But for me, it was indicative of Hippolyta's inability to see what had happened to not just herself, but her people. She had become stubborn, rigid, complacent, self-indulgent, and even blind. Even while singing the praises of the flexibility and agility of women, she is unable to see that she herself is not. Not at all. She's unable to be objective, unwilling to be empathetic and see other perspectives. She was losing touch with her wonderfully feminine qualities. Without the benefit of having a polar opposite, the truly masculine, around to counterbalance, what purpose does the feminine have? If you've ever lived, worked, or studied anywhere as a woman where there are only women, then you know exactly what happens. One of the greatest qualities that woman has is conflict resolution. We women, we have a very love-hate relationship with conflict. The old saying goes, women love a project. But why is that? Why do we love it so much? Because we're natural problem solvers. That's why. It's in our DNA, and we're fantastic at it. Whenever there's an issue, problem with our friends, partners, family, coworkers, what's the first thing out of our mouths? Let's talk about it. Okay, let's talk. Because we know naturally, we're born with this knowledge that the first step in solving a problem is to discover the source of the problem. Then find a way to resolve it as quickly, painlessly, peacefully as possible. Definitely before it gets any bigger. We're fixers, okay? We love resolving conflict so much that any other woman will probably tell you I'm making this up, but it's true. We love conflict resolution so much that if there hasn't been conflict for a while, we tend to create it. Whether it's subconscious or conscious, we tend to create it. And then we complain about it because we love solving problems. We hate drama. At least publicly, we'll say that we hate drama. Think about it. Anytime in your childhood when you had a problem, if something happened, who did you run to? The same person that Princess Diana ran to. Her mother. Why are we so good at this conflict resolution? What makes us so unique compared to men regarding this? Lynda Carter showed us why in the Wonder Woman series. Most of Wonder Woman's superpowers involved communication. Wonder Woman spoke every single language on Earth, even animals. She had enhanced senses from the goddess Artemis. She was able to see and hear things that other humans were incapable of, either from extreme distances or many voices at once. Diana could not only hear it all, but she could understand it and retain it. She was also gifted with a magic lasso that, when wrapped around someone, forced them to tell the truth, whether they wanted to or not. I'd really like to get my hands on one of those. Just saying. Though exaggerated and oftentimes in metaphor, these really are superpowers unique to women, where men do have a biological need to speak and communicate. It is both not as strong as a woman's need, nor is it as specific. Years ago, when I was a young and inspired psych student, we learned of a study done on language in children. When little boys were left to play by themselves, they were observed expressing themselves using onomatopoeia. Bang, boom, pop, zap, pow, that kind of stuff. Where little girls in the same situation, they were observed actually using words, spoken language to express themselves in play. In this study, it was determined that the male has a biological need to speak a minimum of 15,000 words a day, where the female has a biological need to speak at least 25,000 words a day. It's true. Science. Our desire to communicate is biological. Aside from the obvious differences that our hormones create in the male and female brains, science has discovered some pretty important physical differences as well. The two hemispheres of our brain are connected by a thick bundle of nerve fibers called the corpus callosum. This connective tissue of a dense bundle of myelinated fibers, enabling quick information exchange between these two hemispheres, is the largest connective pathway in the human brain. And in women, the structure is much larger and more complex, allowing for larger volumes of information to travel and process at a much higher rate of speed. This gives women a natural ability to multitask far more efficiently and successfully than men. Ever wonder how your mom was able to keep up with so many conversations at the same time without totally losing it? While your dad, in the same situation, would just yell, "All right, everyone stop!" This is why. They literally cannot process that amount of information at that speed. Men's brains were designed to be hyper-focused on one thing at a time. That's what made them such great hunters when we lived in caves. Women's brains were designed to focus on multiple things, which is such good cave mommies. Not only did we have to focus on our children while the men were off hunting saber-tooth or woolly mammoths or whatever, but we also had to focus on what was going on around us to keep those children safe. Consider women during pregnancy. When a woman becomes pregnant, all of her senses are enhanced, especially hearing and sense of smell. In fact, women already naturally have a more sensitive sense of smell than men do. Usually, the enhancements of your senses return to normal levels after you give birth, but many women, including myself, report that sometimes they're stuck with that enhanced sense of smell for the rest of their lives. And this all goes right back being able to keep our young safe when we lived in caves. And what about this magic lasso of truth? Well, that one's easy. How many times as a woman have you said, or have you heard a woman say, "Just tell me, just be honest, just tell me everything. I can handle anything. Just tell me the truth." That goes back to our need for conflict resolution. We don't like ongoing conflict. We like fixing conflict. We don't want it to continue. So just tell us the truth so we can fix the problem. So long as we know who, what, where, when, or why, and how, we can get started on the solution. Let's face it, as women, we have this almost magical power of just knowing. We have a supernatural gut instinct that pings whenever someone's full of it. A bullshit detector, if you will. Every woman has it. We all know. I know. So, of course, Wonder Woman would be seen on screen wielding these incredible abilities. They aren't just superpowers of Diana Prince. They're the superpowers of women. They are natural feminine gifts, be it God-given or evolutionary. Yes, she has superhuman strength, but that wasn't the hallmark of her character. Not in the comics, and most definitely not in the television show. Are women strong? Absolutely. Can we be muscular and outlift some men? Some women definitely can, but it isn't the core aspect of our character. And neither was it true for Lynda Carter's Wonder Woman. It's true. Men are physically stronger than women. They have denser muscle fibers, denser bones. Their bodies are designed for physical conflict. We may not have the muscle mass or the bone density, but it does make us lighter. We have more cartilage that makes us more flexible. This translates into greater speed and agility, which Wonder Woman definitely had. This TV version of Wonder Woman couldn't fly, but her vertical leap was rather impressive. Even George Costanza thinks so. This version of Wonder Woman definitely played to her feminine strengths, something lacking in today's on-screen female superheroes. All you need to do is look at Lynda Carter as Wonder Woman. She isn't ripped by any means, not a sharp edge on her. Yet she's strong and powerful because though it's sometimes cool to have nice big muscles and definition, that's not where Wonder Woman's strength lies, therefore the strength of women. Wonder Woman is statuesque, yet she has gentle, soft curves. Unlike Linda Hamilton's Sarah Connor in Terminator 2 15 years later, Lynda Carter's Wonder Woman still had a body fat percentage. Why is this important? Because our physiology requires it. We have more collagen, elastin, and a higher body fat content for a reason. The collagen and elastin make our skin smoother, softer, and more ruddy. It makes our hair finer, softer, and gives it more shine. Our body fat content actually has a direct effect on our menstrual cycles and our hormones, the very things that dictate our sex. Okay, so she's strong, super fast and agile. She can jump really, really high. She has super hearing, vision, can speak any language. She's a human lie detector and the living embodiment of conflict resolution. But what is the core defining trait of Wonder Woman, specifically Lynda Carter's incarnation of Wonder Woman? What superpower does she have that not only sets her apart from men, but from her fellow superheroes? What is this great superpower that seems to be so unique to femininity? What is it that Carter's Wonder Woman had that so many female superheroes seem to lack today? What is it? The answer is emotion and empathy. It's no secret, no shock to learn that women have a unique connection and value to their emotions. It is our gift and our cross to bear. I am in no way saying that men don't have emotions or empathy. They certainly do, mostly for dogs. But they don't have the connection, nor do they place the value on them that women do. Neither do they feel them as strongly as we do. Our emotions affect our physical selves in a very real and literal way. Every aspect of a woman is entangled in emotions, better or for worse, benefit and detriment. We women are emotional creatures. Without that deep connection to our emotions, women wouldn't have the superhuman ability to empathize with others. And without that ability, we wouldn't be the amazing negotiators and conflict resolvers that we are. Without the emotions of women, without the empathies of women, where would humanity be? Where would men be? Without the understanding and nurturing nature of the feminine, the masculine would be rudderless. Men are great at logical and cognitive reasoning skills, calculating skills that allow them to make quick decisions in dire situations. They don't have the connection we do to our emotions that allow for empathetic reasoning. Yes, they have empathy for others, mostly dogs, but they aren't naturally empathetic like women are. Oftentimes, much to the chagrin of both the sexes. Again, this is primal. They couldn't be empathetic. It would have been fatally dangerous. They were the ones hunting for food and protecting Cave's sweet cave. If they felt bad for every wildebeest they slaughtered or would-be assailant trying to attack their home and steal food from their families, how would have humanity have survived? Women feel everything. We do. And it's the very basis for the conflict between the sexes. Men tend to see our emotions as adorable when we see a cute puppy or reciprocate their affections, but tend to see them as a complicated burden when it isn't convenient for them. For example, we have the phrases, she's crazy. She's crazy. You're crazy. She's a drama queen. She's hysterical woman. All phrases we're familiar with. Women are loved and lauded for our softer side when it aligns with masculine purpose, but are shamed for it when the masculine doesn't understand it. And that's the crux of it. The emotional state of woman is integral to their being. It is integral to femininity. We cannot pick and choose this. We are creatures of emotion. We can't pull that apart. Over the years, both sexes have been taught that feminine emotions in women are a weakness, that they are annoying, obnoxious, unattractive. Women are shamed into being embarrassed by their emotions, so much so that they did the best they could to push them down and hide them so far that they lose them forever, and thus their feminine selves. Women were told it's not cool to be feminine. It means you're weak and you can't take care of yourself. You'll never find a partner that way. You're taught to act like you don't care. The very thing that we're good at and made for in order to get a man to be interested in you and keep him interested. However, once that emotional circumcision is complete, the woman is considered cold, rigid, and not feminine enough. What an absolutely contradicted mess we are in right now. The hero's journey of today's female superhero seems to be not to reconcile with their feminine emotional selves, but to reduce or repress them in order to be more effective heroes. Our emotions are shown as an immaturity to grow beyond. They're portrayed as a hurdle that impedes us rather than a gift that enhances, benefits by providing unique insight, and improves our journey. Most women superheroes today have all but forgotten what it is that makes us so special. They have lost the plot on their own superpowers. Their stories show them overcoming their emotions like they're a disability, dictating that emotions get in the way of rational decisions. Their emotions are an impediment to rational thinking. Instead of learning to harness those emotions and wield them as tools, our modern women warriors are repressing and excising those emotions in exchange for physical prowess and cold, calculating mindsets. For 3 seasons, Wonder Woman ended each 30-minute episode with her using truth, empathy, and diplomacy to resolve every conflict. Yes, she did get physical. Yes, action and physical conflict were present, but it was always a last resort and never the centerpiece of the episode. Wonder Woman used her emotions and emotional connection to those she was working with, those she was helping, as a compass. Her compassion, her concern, and her love were not only first, second, and third go-to tools in her arsenal, but they were her most powerful and impactful. Never were her emotions portrayed as an impediment or a weakness. It was always how Wonder Woman saved the day. Modern female characters today are shown competing with and defeating men in their own arena. Yes, they are fictional characters. Yes, these fictional characters have fictional superpowers. I get it. But if we make male and female superheroes indistinguishable, wouldn't that get boring? And furthermore, does it not conflict with the message of the day that you can be whatever you want? What happened to playing to your strengths? I'm not trying to imply that a woman doesn't stand a chance against a man larger and stronger than her. There is a way, but it's not sheer physicality. Aside from the proven fact that women have a pain tolerance that is 6 times greater than that of men, in a straight, strength-based, physical, no-holds-barred battle, men take the W. Thankfully, Lynda Carter and Wonder Woman are here to remind us just how powerful femininity is, what our strengths are, and how we can use them to our advantage. Speed, agility, cunning, awareness, and yes, even emotions and empathy wielded correctly can take down any obstacle. In this advanced civilization with our evolved sensibilities, we are encouraged that how we choose to live and express ourselves is limited only by our personal choice. We can choose to be whoever and whatever we want. But the struggle is still very real. The monster is still out there. It's just changed its face. We're encouraged to be strong, independent women, but that it's mutually exclusive from femininity. All those wonderful, magical gifts that make women so unique to, yet equally as vital as men are reduced to tropes of the ridiculous, weak, bumbling secondary characters. They are reduced to cautionary tales. This is what is missing from our modern lady soups. We are draining the life force of what makes women so powerful right out of these characters. The studios are doing it to get women to buy movie tickets. And then they're surprised that more women aren't spending the money. Studios want more of the female audience, but they don't want to make female movies. Not really. Sure, their cast is female, but they have all feminine relatability. If Disney and Warner Brothers want to know how to attract a larger female audience, they should look no further than Lynda Carter's Wonder Woman. Well, that's all I have for you guys today on how Lynda Carter's Wonder Woman can save female superheroes and possibly the comic book movie genre. If you like the content I'm putting out there, please do me a favor. Make that sacrifice to the algorithm overlords and smash that like button. If you're new, I really hope you do subscribe, and please ring that notification bell so you get notified whenever I'm back with even more nerdy content. If you would like to help support the channel, I have several options for you right down in the description below. And please make sure to follow us on all the socials. We're literally everywhere, and I've provided all those links down there as well. Until next time, I've been Danny. You've been awesome. And remember, make sure you check under your beds tonight because
Disney and Kathleen Kennedy are gonna get you!